Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Fit Fighter Podcast, the podcast gym for inspirational fitness talk. I am your host, TJ Williams, certified fitness instructor, and I'm here to talk about my fitness adventures, discussing and analyzing fitness-based subjects, and highlighting individuals involved in fitness, past, present, and future. All right, for those who's just tuning in, this is a pre-recorded episode, so whatever I talk about in this episode, it'll be either coming up or in past. All right, it's just a little update on me. Like I mentioned in my previous episode, I recently got surgery on my knee, so I'm currently recovering, which seems pretty good. And from the looks of it, I'm probably going to end up getting into therapy soon. So I just got to make sure see what happened with my upcoming appointment. So I mean, less pain now, but really, it's just I got the surgery done and it's all over. So the recovery is more important right now. All right, so for this episode, I got guests coming from the same location I am, my hometown, Niagara Falls. All right, he's the owner of STACs. So it's stand for strength training and conditioning. So it's a personal training and performance center up in Niagara Falls. And I like to introduce everybody to Al Marcantonio. So he agreed to come on the show and talk about his story.
Doing?
Yeah, so how we doing over there?
I'm doing good, man. How's the knee feeling?
Oh, it's a lot better now. I mean, I'm still on this immobilizer. I mean,
Right.
I can't do any fitness, so that was makes me mad a little bit. So
Yeah. So do you have like physical therapy for that coming
but
up?
yeah, so once I have my appointment with the orthopedics, they'll determine like what I need to do, and they'll schedule like the physical therapy. So really, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah,
I'm sure that's like that's gonna be like working out again in some ways, right? I'm sure you
yeah.
miss it.
Oh yeah. I mean, at least once I get my legs, my knees, operating properly, I mean, I'll be able to do a little bit of cardio, but
Right.
not
Can you
extreme.
can you do any like push-ups or anything like that, or like even like a sit-up?
Man, I mean, pretty much, I don't want to go too low to the ground. So usually I have my bed or
Oh, that's true.
yeah. So, I mean, I can't bend my knee yet. So let's get there.
Yeah, it's tough. I have a few clients with knee issues, but if you're persistent enough, you can bounce back from almost anything. And plus, I know you're not going to give up all the martial arts and working out. So
Yeah. I
you'll be
mean,
there.
luckily I don't have to test physically, no more. So, I mean, that's all over, but yet I got my master rank coming up. So, I
Ooh,
mean, yeah.
that's crazy, man. And what specifically in what? Like what's the martial art?
Well, technically it's the Chuck Norris system, but and like other people would say it's Tank Sudo. So that's
Oh yeah, no, I've heard of that. Yeah. And it's funny. It's actually, I think I speak for a lot of people when I say Chuck Norris got me into martial arts, like when I was real young. I didn't actually get to do any martial arts until like after high school though. So like I remember just seeing him do the spinning kicks. Still to this day, I try to master, like, I guess in Taekwondo it's called wheel kick, just for fun, you know what I mean? But
yes.
like it's hard to get because but like I'll still try to practice it just because of Chuck Norris, a huge inspiration.
Yeah, that and Jean-Claude Van Damme. I always try to do the helicopter kick,
Oh
you
my
know,
god.
really.
What gets me is the splits. It's crazy to me, especially when you see a real muscular guy doing splits. You ever heard of Crow Cop? Fought in MMA and Pride. He's like the real Jean-Claude Van Damme. Like he does the splits on the blocks. You know what I'm talking about? And like he's got thunder thighs on him. And it's like sometimes I'm like, I work out too much to be flexible. And then I see someone like that. I'm like, better get to stretching. You know?
Eh,
But yeah, I definitely need some more flexibility because I also do jujitsu and stuff. But
no.
yeah, which a lot of people don't know because I think a lot of people know me from like one niche. Like they're like, oh, Al, the power lifter. Oh, Al, like they know me from like one area, and I kind of like spread myself pretty thin. I'm pretty much everywhere, you know.
Yeah. So we're gonna get into that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu later. So, but we're gonna bring everything back to the beginning with you. I understand
Absolutely.
your family's surrounded with fitness. You know, you got I believe you have three sisters, right?
I have three older sisters. Yep.
Oh man, and all of them are into fitness.
Absolutely. Well, here's the thing. Little known fact, like back when like the bikini division in bodybuilding was like just brand new. My sisters like won the Buffalo, the Rochester, all that with the Primorano group. They cleaned house. They like won every competition they were in. Those two, Venus and Melody. So like they're kind of just like more focused on the career now, but like just fitness and health in my family is just all around all the time. So I was destined to get involved, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So can you tell me how you were like before you got into fitness? I mean, of course, I know your father was into fitness because I know I see him at the gym like periodically. And I mean, that's pretty much that's your push into fitness.
Yeah, so actually what happened was when my dad was I believe my dad went to the doctors and they were like, "Yeah, like you're getting older now. You should probably, start working out, watching your diet." And we were all just little kids by then, and I just saw him lift weights. He's not like power lifting or doing any martial arts or nothing, but he's lifting weights. So I'm like, right around like third and fourth, fifth grade, like elementary school. I see him working out, and of course, I try to do it. So like, and it's like, obviously it's not real workouts, but it's like me trying to do push-ups, me trying to do sit-ups, I'm running around the building, think it's like a mile or something like that. It's really not even like a city block. But like that's still like it kind of like was ingrained in my head. I remember the weights that he had. It was the ones filled with sand, the plates like
Yeah.
the for the
Yeah.
dumbbells and barbells. They were filled with sand, and there was this booklet that showed you these old school like 70s workouts from when he used to work out as a kid. And I started in middle school. I started like actually working out, like I said, super wrong, but I started lifting like actually using weights. Everything I was doing was so wrong, nothing was hard, but but the habit stayed there, and that's what's important. That's what I think it's super important if you have kids to have them see you work out, because they're going to want to do whatever you do, see them, you try to make an effort with the diet, because that's a big deal to them. It'll as you grow up, things you learn as you grow up, I notice kind of like stay with you for a long time. It's like kind of like they say like, oh, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I wouldn't say that's true, but when you grow up with something, it's like really instilled in there. So if you grow up with bad habits or not working out, it's really hard to kind of like include it in your life later. That's what I found anyway. So I just basically grew up working out, and my sister like ran cross country. She worked out, and of course she got into bodybuilding. I never got into bodybuilding, but I did end up lifting weights and eventually going into powerlifting after high school. In high school, I played pretty much every sport I could get my hands on, um, which also obviously reinforced all the working out. And I think that's what kept me from just working out and lifting weights is the athletic stuff. Because I noticed if I just lift weights, you can't be athletic. You got to run. Running was big. All the sports I played: football, wrestling, lacrosse, track. I did 1 year cross country. So everything I played involved some sort of running. Now I know people are like, oh, wrestling, that's involved. I did more running in wrestling than I did in any other of those sports, even cross country. You ran upstairs on the mats, sprinted. So running, people wouldn't think of me as a runner, but I've been running. I ran before I lifted weights, probably around that city block, or not even the city block. I ran around the old high school at the neck. But yeah, pretty much after that, I went to powerlifting, and then since I didn't wrestle no more and I didn't wrestle in college, that's when I got into jujitsu. So that's the sort of how the timeline goes anyway.
Uh,
But yeah, I managed to like at a very low level, collect a couple trophies with some state records. Of course, the kids are beasts today, so I don't hold any records besides the bench press. Yeah, dude, it's crazy. You go online, you go on Instagram right now, you get a little intimidated real quick. You just see like 17-year-old kids lifting 600 pounds, and you're like, yo, what are they feeding these kids, man? But time moves on, man. That's how it works, right? So, but no, yeah, I just after high school, that's when I felt like I was a late bloomer. So that's when I actually felt like I was fulfilling my athletic potential. Even now, still kind of trying to hold on, right? Um, but yeah, I left jujitsu. I left just all martial arts. Jujitsu is the only one I competed in. But like I said, I practiced my Chuck Norris kicks. Go kickboxing at Fight Sport. That's on Whitmer Road. That's the one I go to. And then the jiu-jitsu place I go to is Niagara Falls BJJ. But yeah, I just started like there was like a layoff in my life though where I wasn't competing in nothing. So this year I competed in strongman and jiu-jitsu because now I'm getting into strongman. When I was growing up, like I said, when I was in high school lifting weights, right? I was powerlifting. I followed this one YouTuber called Elliot Holz, Strength Camp. And he used to do strongman all the time, but we had have no strongman stuff. So, and I was like, oh, if I ever had a gym, I would fill with strongman stuff. And back in my day, if you looked up a strongman competition, if you ever found one, they weren't as prevalent as powerlifting. There were like no weight classes that I could participate in. Like, don't get me wrong, like I'll just go up, you know, compete anyway. But the weight classes were like still now it's like 220 and down. But you learn to cope with it. You roll with the big boys. I'll try to gather a trophy here and there, but it's tough now. But the sport's growing fast enough, and they'll have weight classes for everyone pretty soon. But as soon as I open up STAC, I got Atlas stones, I got logs, I got farmers handles, all that fun stuff. So kind of like dream fulfilled almost.
Yeah, I can see, man. You definitely have a good story here. I mean,
Yeah. I went on for a little bit, didn't I?
yeah, but really, you pretty much I'm registered everything that you're saying, and of course, it's great that you like did everything before you started sports, so you were like prepared for anything that sports handled to you. Like I can imagine wrestling doing stairs.
Yeah.
I could the one thing I could think of is Vern Gagne's wrestling. Well, this is like pro wrestling I'm talking about, but
Yeah.
what you talk about running up the stairs and running, and running up the stairs. I did that in track, and it's like going up and down stairs. Like next, your legs hurt afterwards. It's like you can't even sit
It's
down.
the worst.
Yeah,
No, stairs, you'll never, it's weird. It's like some workouts you'll never get used to. It's like you run stairs like, 10 times in a row, and you think by the 10th time, oh, it'll be easier this time. It's like, no, it's like you never get used to that. What's funny though? You mentioned wrestling like WWE. I used to watch that like religiously in like elementary and a little bit in middle school. And now I never watch it. I only watch UFC. I used to watch a bunch of sports, and like the only sport I can keep up with now is the UFC. But I am glad the Bills are doing good. That's on the side note.
yeah.
To be good for the city.
It's only 2 games, but I'm not get my hopes up. But I
Right.
yeah.
You can't. This has happened before, right? But to go back to your point, yeah. I think the reason isn't for me doing all these sports is actually not what people might think. Like, oh, Al's good at everything. It's because I think I was bad at everything, so I had to try everything. Like I always thought, I was kind of like a jack of all trades, but like master of none. So
Yeah.
what I was trying to do in high school is figure out like my sport. And now I know like I don't have like any type of sport or niche. I'm just kind of everywhere. And that's my strength. My strength is having no strengths, and you learn to do with that. And if you I think the quote goes jack of all trades, master of none. And that always used to bother me a little bit. But I learned the full quote, which actually reinforced kind of like how I am now, which is jack of all trades, master of none, often better than a master of one. So for those out there that are like, more well-rounded, I encourage you to keep going on that. Like you don't have to find one thing that you're good at, especially if it's not like innate, like you don't naturally have like one thing you're good at. Like I'm not very fast. I'm not very like good endurance, but I'm kind of like in between. Like you can work at it, you know what I mean? And like that can be your strength, is like being well-rounded. And I think that's underrated. You know what I mean? Everyone thinks you have to be a specialist. I'm like, look, if you're a specialist, you're like a world-class powerlifter, go break records, become a pro, do what you got to do. But hey, man, it doesn't hurt to be good at everything, man. Just a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I think the whole game of pretty much this fitness or everything else is diversity and versatility. So that's the two things that you have to learn to at least try all these different things like you've been doing. You went from doing like wrestling, cross country and track, and then you go to a powerlifting, and of course you do strongman, and then of course BJJ or jiu-jitsu of course, yeah, and then definitely versatility. It's like you are adapting. So
it's always a challenge.
Yeah,
is what it is. Like you're always challenging yourself to new, because it's like I feel like not that I'm like mastered anything, but once you like you get used to like, oh, there's different like I was saying today, I was in kickboxing. I was like, there's kickboxing cardio, there's regular cardio, and then there's like kickboxing cardio. And then I said, And then there's jujitsu cardio. Like it's all a little bit different. So you think, oh, I've been running all summer. I'm gonna be good to hit the bag for 3 minutes straight. And then you're like, ooh, my shoulders, or like my hip flexors hurt from kicking. And it's like, yeah, it's all different, man. It's a new challenge, you know what I mean? So it's almost like the game never stops. And then I go to jujitsu and it's like, oh, like my arms cramp up, or my hamstring cramps up because I haven't been going or something like that. It's all different. It's like it's just a new challenge all the time, and your body just keeps adapting it. And I think it keeps you, like, I guess, young, so to speak. I don't want to talk like I'm an old man because I'm not an old man.
Me neither.
But yeah, exactly. No, I don't accept that. But I am getting older, so I'm getting more experience, and I've been in the game for a while. And like I said, I started early, so like I might, first of all, I look young, so that's not working for me. But also, people assume based off my age, like, oh, he's probably been working out for 5 years. But meanwhile, I made all my mistakes real early on, like when I was a teenager. So I'm a little bit more experienced for someone my age just because of that, and I'm grateful for it. And the only thing I've experienced is the fact that I have a lot to learn still. There's just so much more. It's like the Dunning-Kruger effect. You think you know everything, then you realize you don't know anything, and then you start over again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I'm like going for master rank. Even after I get master rank, I'm still gonna learn stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
everything that we do in our style of the Chuck Norris system is really adapting. It's not changing, but it's like evolving. It's like you're pretty much taking everything that we observe, like fights on the street. You
Right.
know, let's face it. Years ago, we didn't have internets, so really
Yeah.
you couldn't even film fights. I mean, pretty much you couldn't. Camcorders probably years ago was like
There was no
extremely
film study.
Exactly. I mean, we lived on VHS and either DVDs, but now it's like everything is digital. We just put it on YouTube, and then you got the whole world watching. So if they
Yeah.
see you out in the street, they know how you fight. So
Yeah, because
they,
it's like you got to go off of that one guy that's been in like 10 fights and be like, yeah, this is what happens in street fights, bro.
yeah,
They got what is it called? CCTV or something like that, or CTV. There's cameras everywhere now, basically.
yeah,
But you hear about that one challenge? Just a side note, that one challenge, people, it's so bad. Kids were going around. It's called a knockout challenge, and they're going
yeah,
around just hitting dudes like from behind. And I was like, you kidding me right now? That's not. And here's the thing, that's not even like, that's lower than a thug right there, because it's like you're not even being fair.
yeah,
But it's funny because like if people always ask me, they're like, oh yeah, what do you think is best for self-defense, especially like for women or like smaller people? I'm like, look at the question you're probably asking is, how do you win a street fight? Because the people that ask me, I'm like, you don't want to know self-defense. Self-defense, I'll tell you what self-defense is: staying away from dark alleys. If someone's challenging you, get away from them. It sounds cowardly, but look, if someone's challenging you to a fight, you run. You don't know who they know. You don't know what they got on them. And here's the thing: let's say you beat them up, you win, use your Chuck Norris moves or jujitsu moves or whatever, or you're big and strong. Like, you don't know who they know, and you're just starting beef for no reason. Like, it's overrated to like actually engage. Now, if you actually want to know how to defend yourself, that's a different question. But I think people always want to like, oh, how do I win a street fight so they can go to a bar and handle their beef? But I'm like, yeah, it's overrated, man.
yeah.
The,
Usually,
the more you fight, the more you learn how to fight, the less fights I've gotten into ever since I was a kid. Like, the more I learn, the less like I guess insecure you are, because you're like, oh, I have to prove that I can beat this guy up, or I have to prove I'm not a wimp, or I'm not scared. Now it's like, nobody wants to fight.
yeah,
I never get into that. It's nonsense. And it's growing up in this area, that's a big thing. So, I mean, I'm sure like people might ask you the same questions, like self-defense and stuff like that, all the time.
yeah. I mean, what I tell my students, like, what is your goal when you leave karate? And I say, and usually they just ask like I don't know, like some question or some answer, but yeah, I tell them your goal is to go home. And then I say, what's your mindset? It's like your mindset is not what you're going to do when you get home, is if I'm going to make it home. So that
Hmm.
should be their mindset. So really, as soon as they get out of karate and get in the car, I mean, they should be thinking about like what to watch out for as their parents are driving, or what if they walk to the car, what they should be thinking about. Like a person comes up and attacks. I mean, they gotta be at least ready for that. They
Like
can't work.
situational awareness.
Yeah. So like they can't think about what they're gonna do when they get home. They gotta think about what if I'm gonna make it home. So that's their mindset.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, yeah, that's important. Not enough people making it home these days.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and wait, what are some other martial arts you teach, correct?
Yeah, I teach.
What do
And I
you
want to
teach?
yeah, I'm ready to get back. It's like mostly I'm in the Chuck Norris's. I know I teach what they require me to teach. So like I
Gotcha.
said, everything is adapting. So really,
It's the Tang Sudo.
yeah. So basically that's
Yeah.
the like the base of the style, but everything else, it's basically Chuck Norris, like mostly self-defense, and like we do one steps and we do ground grappling too. So that's important too. Like
Glad
you
you
know,
include it, you know what I mean?
yeah, because
Because like you
what
said, back in the day,
yeah.
they didn't
So,
do any of that.
yeah, so with you, I know what you do with jujitsu. Mostly it's ground stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I know what that's probably competition like side of it, right?
It is, it 100% is. And a lot of people have their qualms with that. When I say I do jujitsu, I know for a fact what I'm doing is especially when you put the gi on. So I just started gi. That's actually new. I used to always do the no gi because that's just a little easier. You know, you get those people that basically you teach a wrestler how to choke and he's doing no gi. But in the gi, it's like you're grabbing the jacket and there's different moves for it. And it's completely foreign. It's almost like a different martial arts. And that's what's keeping me, excited because it's that new challenge, that new thing. It's completely different. And a lot of those stuff, I think as long as like a lot of this stuff, if someone was punching or if it was a street fight, it wouldn't work. As long as you know that, in my opinion, it's fine because I think a lot of people are like, oh, they criticize certain styles and like, oh, this is the competition thing. It's like, look, that's like telling a boxer, be like, oh, by the way, like, there's no referee to break it up if someone grabs you. I think they know that, you know what I mean? So it's like when I learn a jujitsu move and it involves me pulling on a sleeve and pulling on a leg at the same time or something like that, and my face is wide open, I know that's not the move I would use in a self-defense situation. You just have to have that, I guess, experience to know, like, this move is for competition and this move over here, that's for, if your life's in danger. But in my opinion, like I said, you hit them twice, you run as fast as you can. You do jujitsu when they grab you. In my opinion, you shouldn't go out of your way to grab somebody. You don't know what they got on you, like I said before, but it's 100% competition. I would say if I were to speak on that though, the one thing that's really good about competing in a martial art is it gives you real life speed, real life intensity, real life. You have to really face somebody's strength. So like, yeah, maybe the moves themselves aren't like maybe like street savvy or whatever, but you're going at a speed and the intensity that you would probably encounter in the street. So like that aspect of it is great. And whereas in training, you almost never go like 100% because you're going to injure your training partner. You don't want to punch somebody in the face. You don't want to, choke them unconscious or anything like that. So there is some benefits to competition style. I will give it that.
Yeah, definitely. When you talk about like street fighting or like self-defense on the street, there's also legalities. That's
Mm,
one thing that Ian Abernathy much talk about. Of course, he's a martial arts from England, and I did a couple
mm.
seminars with him. He's been talking about like street fight or basically bunkai. It's like applying kata into self-defense. So I don't know if you're familiar with bunkai, but
I'm familiar
that's
with kata. So like you're saying like the forms.
yeah, so basically, if you're doing like forms in like say it's Tank Sudo or even any other style like Shotokan, there's always hidden moves in that kata. Like a normal block could be a strike. So that's
Gotcha.
the bunkai. So pretty much the amount of moves you do in a set of a kata, that could be a self-defense technique. So, but going back to what you're saying about self-defense, it's like
Yeah.
that's there's legalities, like you said, you don't want to be choking a person out or just knocking them senseless. It's depending on your if you take it so far. Like if you do
Right.
things too early and like too much, yeah, then you're going to be the aggressor. But yet, if you do things too late and then next
Yeah.
injuries happen. Yeah,
Yeah. It's like a double-edged sword. That's why I just avoid it altogether. They can call me whatever name they want. I don't care. I'm not trying to get involved with nothing. At the very worst, someone pulls like a weapon on you. and you don't go home that night. At the very best, let's say you knock them out, and then there's, like you said, legalities. You don't know who's, did you knock them out in a business? Was it public? You don't know who they know. They might be friends with a lawyer. Someone might come after you afterwards. You get jumped. None of that's worth it, man. And then once you realize, it's like you get in. It's like kind of like fitness. Some people get in for the wrong reasons. They're like they start martial arts. Oh, I want to beat someone's, beat him up, beat my bully up, or like in the movies. And then they leave for the right reasons. That's what the instructor, that's what you're for. You know what I mean? To like change their mindsets. Like, nah, it's not about that. It's about self-improvement. It's about, self-preservation. It's about fitness. And I noticed like today, all the young kids are getting into fitness. It's like a meme, but it's true. They're getting into fitness because like their heart's broken or they're depressed. And I'm like, you're getting it for the wrong reasons. But as long as you leave for the right reasons, and that's where I come in, you come in, and you show them, oh, okay, like maybe you got in for this reason, but maybe you stay for the self-improvement. Maybe you stay for the fitness and the longevity of it. And just, just as an outlet, that's fine too.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you with that. With martial arts, I was pretty much bullied most of my life. So I mean, I got in there for like the wrong reasons, but nowadays I don't think about those reasons. I think about like what the world needs somebody to lead these young people or these young kids, because they're getting down the wrong path. So I'm telling them like really, it's like your life is more important than trying to get revenge or like trying to make or at least trying to like do whatever, but
intimidate.
Intimidate.
Get into fights. That I 100% went through that. I think as a kid, watching too much movies, honestly, too many of those Chuck Norris. No, not really the Chuck Norris movies. Actually, he was more of like a good guy, like a reluctant hero. It was all those like action movies, like Wolverine, watching the Hulk. I thought I had to be like angry in order to like be cool, be tough. And I think in wrestling, as early as wrestling, and other sports, and especially in martial arts, I learned like, oh, like anger is not really your friend, not so much, because if you don't know how to channel your energy, you get too emotional about it, it's not gonna work. You're gonna get played. You're gonna get played out, and you're not gonna be able to do the moves right. You're not gonna, you're gonna waste your energy too. Even lifting weights, because I used to do that too. I didn't learn my lessons right. I used to like lift super. Well, here's the thing: is like when you come from an emotional place or a place of like revenge in your mind, you run out of energy real quick. It's like it's draining. All your energy is like up here. You get real tight, and then it doesn't work for any of this stuff. But a lot of people I think are on that train where it's like they get in because they're bullied or whatever. But as long as they stay for the right reasons, that's where we come in, because these kids, like you said, they're going down wrong paths. Especially, I don't know, do you grow up in Niagara Falls?
Oh yeah, born and raised. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So what I'm talking about. So me and you both Niagara Falls. So we know like these kids, and that's a big part of STAC actually. STAC is trying to figure out some program. We got some things in the works, a little surprise. I won't say on this podcast, but we're trying to get things from the works. I've worked with the connection before and the kids there. But we'd like to get into basically get our way into the youth and give them a little outlet to something to do, besides, doing their shenanigans, which takes like the same energy. It's that high energy stuff that they want to do, and they're just doing it in the wrong way. And, perhaps get them out of that video game chair. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You play any games?
I haven't played games in years. I mean, I've played like, I still got my arcade system here, the Pandora. So I mean, I fool around with the classic video games and all that, but not
Mario, right? Weren't you Mario for Halloween, or at least one of the years?
Or I'll like go to Comic Cons.
Oh, Comic Cons, that's where you go to. Yeah, those got to be crazy. I've never been to one of those.
Yeah, just went to Fan Expo before I injured myself. I went to Fan Expo in Toronto like 4 days, and it was like a stampede. Like compared to the other Comic Cons I went to, it's like the Comic Cons I've been to, it's just like calm, like not too many people. But Fan Expo, it's like you don't have no room to like move. I mean, the traffic
like shoulder to shoulder in there.
Yeah, it's like usually if you go for a photo op, you're in like a big crowd, and then people, you got to go through people just to get to your photo op.
Yeah, big difference then between those two, right?
Yeah, I mean, with the other Comic Cons, you just stand in line and it's like it's not too crowded, so that's like better.
All right.
And even more expensive for the Fan Expo.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
no frame of reference. I just think they look cool when you guys post stuff on like the Instagram or something like that. I
Yeah,
wouldn't even know what to dress up as.
yeah, I mean that's like the fun side of me is like usually if that's like guilty pleasure. We'll get to that and towards the end of the show, like your
Yeah,
guilty
sure,
pleasure.
sure.
Yeah.
Throw me the questions. Throw me the questions.
All right, so here's something that I wanted to talk about. Your business with STAC, and can you like compare that to the gym? Because I know with the gym, you know, you talk about like most people talk about tonic gym culture, right? And
Yeah.
of course you heard of Joey Swole, right?
Yep, I have heard of it.
Oh yeah, he's been posting videos all over the place.
He's all over that the gym toxic gym culture.
Yeah,
That's
somebody
his thing.
I say people are either stupid enough to post something on TikTok or even Instagram, and he's gonna catch you and he's gonna call people out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because people are so delusional. They'll post a video. This is like a famous thing. People will walk in front of the video and they'll be like, "How rude of them!" And I'm like, "You're in a public gym, and you don't want someone to walk in front of your camera while you're recording them without any consent. Like nobody asked you to record. It's not your right to record. You're basically thirst trap. Like I get it. Some people want to get their form right, but you don't own the gym. People can walk by. You know what I'm saying? It's just you're in public. This isn't your private gym. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean that's probably the reason why you got people that want to go to like place for your place, like because it's just like it's just a fitness place. People don't have either the privacy or they don't have the motivation because they go to gym. There's tonic people, and one thing, mostly women, they go to like women's only
Yeah,
gym. I know Melissa Cerrito has her own place, and mostly that's for women only because you
yeah.
got those creepy people that creepy guys just like
Because that
yeah,
gym used to have a women's only room, so
yeah,
they were grown accustomed to that. So like all those people are like, oh no, now it's just out in the open. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's weird because it's kind of like what people ask for, but at the same time you don't like it type of thing. Uh, but yeah, a lot of people do come to me and they're like, yeah, I don't know what I'd do if I had to go to a public gym. And I'm like, I mean, I think everyone should experience it so they don't get the social anxiety. Because I think, I was, big into overcoming your own fears, but yeah, a lot of people will go to these smaller places because it's not crowded. You know what I mean? They don't have to deal with the, social anxiety or like the interactions and the recording. Like imagine you're working out, you're just trying to get your workout in, go to your job or whatever, and then someone's recording a video and you're like in the background. It's like, I don't want to be in someone's Instagram video. What if it goes viral and it's just my face right there? Some people
yeah,
don't like that. Like
yeah.
if I was in the background video, I wouldn't be care, but not everyone thinks that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I mean
That's
that's why people just kind of get away from going to the gym. And for me, when I was teaching my classes, like I mean, even after the pandemic, I don't get a lot of people because of people are fearful to go in the gym or getting COVID.
yeah,
It kind of puts a big stain on me because I go there, I want to at least do a good fitness class because that's what
yeah,
I love to do. But yet I don't have enough people. I don't like to leave early because of that. And but luckily I get my workout before the class, so I can't be totally mad about it. But
right.
that's just a thing that needs to grow again because of the pandemic hitting. Yeah.
Yeah, after the pandemic, it's crazy, and a lot of people got home gyms now. And let me tell you something. I own a small gym, so it's kind of like a home gym. Let me tell you something. The prices went up crazy, like the raw materials for steel and wood and all that stuff. I'm like, I don't even know if people can afford the gym. So I think if people eventually will probably end up going back, if they haven't already. I don't know how's the classes going now.
I mean, before I got injured, I was able to get like at least 6 people in the class, or at least 6 to 8. So that's at least an improvement for like the past couple months.
And
So I
forgive me,
mean,
I don't know the name of the class. Is like some sort of cardio kickboxing class you do, or is it a specific name?
well, before Crunch kind of changed into like
Mm,
before World Gym changed to Crunch, I mean, I was doing body combat, And
Yes,
that's like the only Lift Mills class I was certified in. I loved doing that class.
I
And
remember that one.
yeah, there was like body pump, body flow, body step, all those classes. Me, I was doing just body combat because of my martial arts background. But now
Yes,
since Crunch came in, for me, I had to learn the different classes, the Crunch brand classes, and of
yeah,
course, at the same time, be certified in AFA and get all this other certification. And I had to learn all these classes. So it's more than just doing martial arts type classes. It's like doing weightlifting, like cardio type endurance, like hit
yeah.
classes. Yeah. So basically that's, or even just only abs classes. So that's pretty much the whole crunch industry, or the crunch
Yeah,
yeah.
the like curriculum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I trust me, I had to jump through those hoops too before I left Crunch. But I mean, I can't be too mad. I got it. Kind of looks good on my resume. I got all these certifications now. It's funny because like the more certs I get, the less I use all of them because it's the same thing. I'm like with the well-roundedness, I'm like just all over the place. A kettlebell, TRX, all that stuff. But it's fun. I got a couple trips to New York City to get trained. But yeah, how would you compare those class or those I guess I don't even know what to call it, those certifications or that style of class to the old ones? Do you like the new crunch ones?
Well, that's getting used to it. It's like it's so much like it's the platform or the format of the class. It's like I create my own workout, but
Oh, nice.
I gotta go with the format of the class. But the good thing about being a AFA certified, I can make my own classes. Like
That's
I
good.
I go to other places to do classes. Like of course I go to Lewiston, and this one lady that I did class or taught classes with she hired me to be an instructor at her place. So I'm doing
Wow, that's dope, man.
yeah, I'm doing my own classes. Like before the pandemic hit, I was like getting like five, like at least like two classes a week for that place. But like before the pandemic, I ended up teaching like 5 fitness classes. But now with the pandemic
Oh,
heading, it's just one class a week. And
damn,
that's
really?
yeah,
That's crazy.
but it kind of reversed for my martial arts. I went from teaching 2 classes a week to like teaching 5. So yeah, or 5 times a week.
So
So
you kind of like switched almost.
yeah, but yeah, it's still the benefits. I mean, I still get paid, and that's
Yeah, that's
at
most
least
important.
yeah. All right. So
Gotta
of
keep the
course,
bills up.
all right.
Absolutely.
So let's so I understand. Yeah, you talked about your sisters being competition. Like were you just in competition with each other, or you guys helped each other?
Um, yeah, so obviously we were in different stuff, but my sisters were in the exact same sport. And what's a funny story? Because they were extremely competitive, but not against each other because they saw themselves as you win, that means I win. So I'll explain this is a funny thing. Venus and Melody were actually in the same division. There was short, it was by height, not by weight. It's short, medium, tall bikini. And what they would do is Melody would just lie about her height. So they would be in 2 different divisions. So they would both win the division. Like, so they both win, right? And then they both meet each other in the finals. And then what ended up happening is they would win their division, and then Melody would win the whole overall. But here's the thing. They didn't see it as, well, I didn't see it as like, oh, Melody beat Venus, right? Venus trained Melody. Melody didn't train Venus. So Venus was a trainer for a while. I'm sure you remember that.
Yeah.
So it was a win either way. And in like in bikini, they kind of favor a little bit longer, taller person, even though Melody wasn't like that much taller. She lied about her height, but every time they went out there, they won their division, and they win the one of them would win the overall. You know what I'm saying? And it was hilarious to me that Melody would just lie about her height and they wouldn't check it. So they got to both win each division, but there was never animosity or jealousy. It, like I said, Venus trained when on the off season, Venus trained Melody, and then they would eventually go with the Primeranos. Um and they would just clean house. They were killing the game. And I think Melody ended up actually doing a couple fitness classes. I don't know if you saw any of that. She did it was World Gym at the time. So this is kind of like things were a little bit more, wild west. You kind
Yeah.
of just recruit someone. So she taught a couple the body pump, the new, actually I think Venus and Melody taught body pump before um I think it was body pump. Is the barbells? It's all barbells.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when it was brand new. I remember the DVDs playing in my house, and they had to learn it. And I went to the class to support it, and it was like just a ton of reps. It was like half reps, then full reps. It was like almost like doing sevens. You ever do sevens or 21s with biceps? It was like that the whole time. And I was, dang, this is kind of hard actually. So I had a little bit more respect for the fitness classes because at the time I was over here, powerlifting. But yeah, they actually brought it in, and then eventually she stopped. Uh she didn't like being in front of a bunch of people. You
Yeah.
gotta get used to that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much used to it. Like after like teaching martial arts classes and being in pro wrestling, like in pro wrestling, I'm in front of people all the time. It's like,
Yes.
when I'm out there, it's like it's kind of anxiety, but like once you get used to it, it's like you see the people disappear. You're more focused on what you're doing, and with teaching, it becomes more fun because I make a comedy act out of it. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's interesting. Yeah, that's such an interesting one because it's like that's like if you mess up, it's in front of everybody. There's no like retakes, like let me edit this out real quick. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like you mess up, I don't know, you could hurt yourself too. You gotta be pretty athletic for that one. But
yeah,
yeah, I used to watch that religiously, but I can only keep up with one sport now. I used to watch football, wrestling, and UFC, even baseball and hockey. Now I only can keep up with the UFC, man. Barely can
yeah.
keep up with it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even keep up with WWE anymore.
No,
It's not as interesting. I'm watching pretty much Peacock, the old classic wrestling. So that's
yeah,
like the wrestling I was into. But I'm more into like the independent wrestling because I go to these shows like all over the place, like mostly Buffalo, Canada, and like
can.
usually,
Ooh,
yeah. Oh yeah,
that's pretty dope.
that's where I started my training. Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It's like a nice little field trip.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't too far from the
Yeah.
border. So yeah.
Now it's a little problem to get over over the border. From what I heard, I haven't traveled over, but
Oh yeah, no, but it's not easy. I've been over there. That's just like now they're just restricting the like COVID test, so you don't have to take a
yeah.
COVID test to go over there.
Yeah,
It's
what is it like? You got to get a COVID test before and after, or just one of them?
well, you could take a home test. They don't ask you if you have a COVID test. Now it's like you just ask for your Well, you have to do an app and stuff. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so you have to put all your information on the app, and then like you have to like set up a day that you want to go over and day and time, and then of course you just give them your
So you
like.
can't be spontaneous. You can't just be like, I'm going to Canada today.
Oh, yeah, it's like if you decide to go Canada, like for me, I had to do the app like 4 times just to go over the Span Expo and mostly to see my niece.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I have a client's wife is Canadian, so when she comes over, um, or when she'll tag along on some of the workouts, and she'll have to come over the border, and it takes a while. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, glad it used to be that she had to fly over. She said it was easier to fly over than it was to drive over because of all the weight and the stipulations. So at least that's not happening no more during COVID. Oh my gosh.
yeah. Hey, so you just made your goal into creating this your home fitness center. Like, you have any other ultimate goals you're aiming for right now?
I got too many goals, TJ. I got too many goals. But so as far as the business goes, like I said, the involvement, I could probably be more specific when I when all these things come in fruition. But basically, to get involved with the kids, coach the strength and conditioning. I won't be involved in any sports specifically, more like off season. That's what I want to eventually get into. And I actually want to hold competitions. I don't need it to be sanctioned. I would like to hold a strongman like beginner competition because this area doesn't see any strongman competitions. The ones I've been to register, and I had my athletes preparing for a strongman competition in Rochester, and I have some athletes that have competed in strongman and the Rochester events, but I've traveled to Florida for them because they're just not as prevalent as something like a powerlifting meet. You can look at powerlifting meet, you can find one, next month, but I want to get like a beginner's one, you know what I'm saying? Unsanctioned, something like that, something so people don't go into their first one like totally unexperienced because these are all completely different implements. You know what I mean? Like nobody's even seen an Atlas stone. Everyone knows what a barbell looks like, but nobody, knows what it's like to pick up a sandbag. if I were to recommend anything, by the way, on a side note, if you want to get something for a home gym, get a sandbag, fill it up with sand. It doesn't hurt your garage floor or your whatever floor because it's filled with sand. That give you one hell of a workout. You can do a ton of stuff with it. But anyways, yeah, I want to hold competitions like beginning strongman. And I want to do one day do what's called, I guess I would call it a sports combine for the kids. You know, have you seen the NFL combine? They're running the 40, they're doing the vertical, they're doing a bunch of stuff. I would make it so like, you know, the real popular stuff, like people want to do the 40, people want to do the vertical, and I'd add some other my own, you know, fitness stuff in there, maybe like a sandbag thing or something like that. Or for military, they got to throw the medicine ball behind them. Oops, medicine ball behind him, like something like that, just to give something to for the kids to look forward to competing in, because kids love games, they love competition, and it can kind of be like their mini version of it. And like besides that, one day turn my performance center into more of a gym, like 24-hour access. Shoot, what other ones? All of them, all the goals, but stuff like that. As far as the business goes, I'm kind of open to different directions as well. So like nothing's in stone yet until like I get it down solid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what was the other gym that your sister trained in? What was the name of that? It was on Military Road for a while. Then it moved to Buffalo Avenue.
That was Pre-Muranos. They specialized in bodybuilding.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
do you think that's more a competition to like where you're at? Because I know you're on Buffalo Avenue as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like that kind of fills the niche of bodybuilding. I don't think there's any other gym that's just bodybuilding. Like most people that go there, I think are actually competing or just used to compete or are bodybuilders maybe. Whereas my gym, I think, would be built more for performance. So like obviously strongman stuff would be there, and I'd be the only gym that has strongman equipment to the extent that I do. Some gyms have, I know for a fact, some gyms might have a couple stones or logs or maybe sandbags, but I got everything. I got farmers, I got circus dumbbell, I got the space for it. I got turf too. But yeah, I would be more like interested in more like a performance. So I would make sure there's space, you know, that like area and crunch where there's like the turf.
Yeah.
That'd be more so the look of my gym, like where you got all the space, you got the turf, you can do athletic stuff. I got a punching bag in there, of course, you know, gotta have it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like where you can do kind of like, obviously, you know, my background, well-rounded workout, but more geared towards like athletes and strongman for sure. So I don't know if, and I think I'd be filling that niche because I don't think there's any strongman or just purely athletic gyms in this area. There's powerlifting, there's bodybuilding, and then there's obviously martial arts places and crunch, esporta, which is kind of like just general population fitness. People just want to get in there and work out. So I think I wouldn't be competing with that many people per se, is to answer your question very long-windedly.
Yeah. So who would you say you would look up to during your journey? Like, is there any certain like person that you see that's your inspiration?
So I was a big YouTube guy when I was like in high school. So I already mentioned Elliot Hulse. He was actually a strongman. He trained athletes as well. So a huge inspiration. I kind of ripped off a lot of his stuff and I didn't even realize it. Most of his old stuff, I think he's like political now. I'm not really on that bandwagon. In fact, yeah. I don't try to talk about politics and religion in my gym as much as possible. But yeah, all his old stuff. And also I got into Alan Thrall as another YouTuber. He actually founded his gym on strongman equipment as well and powerlifting, stuff like that. So like I guess I kind of modeled my like vision kind of after those two. I hate to be that person, but like I don't know if I have like a hero, but I'm definitely like copying people that are more successful than me, and I'm very open-minded to different avenues to success and avenues to serving the community, because that's ultimately I think that's ultimately what it is. Because if I just wanted to be successful, I don't think I'd be in fitness. I think people in fitness, yeah, there's a lot of money to be made, like especially like in, you know, if Instagram doing whatever. But I think if I was only after like a certain level of success, I wouldn't be in fitness at all. So it's more about like what service can I give based off of my skills and my desires. So I don't know if I have a very specific hero in mind, but those are some people I definitely ripped off, if I could say that.
Well, I can't say I've ripped off from people. I just take what
Yeah,
seems like it
maybe.
could work for me, and then I kind of modify it. So
Yeah,
it says,
maybe I'm just throwing jabs at myself right here.
uh, all right. So is there any like other subjects that you think people need to know about fitness? Like say, I know you study like how to do good workouts, but do you also study like anatomy, like like injuries mostly?
Um, I wouldn't say I specialize in injuries and stuff, but I think a lot of research is coming out now, and a lot of people kind of like they really, especially now with the internet and Instagram and TikTok, there's a lot of like what's called the science-based community, whereas they almost don't do anything with gut instinct anymore. They're like, oh, this study proves that this workout does that and this workout does this. I mean, I think what we're also finding with studies is that a lot of the research is not reliable. Ironically, in studies, um, I'd say like pain tolerance and stuff, they're finding out weird stuff. So like lower back injuries, a lot of it's linked to psychology. So like if you think something's gonna hurt you, it'll end up hurting you. And it's just something, and it's something that was really hard to communicate to clients or to people without sounding like a bro scientist, where it's like, oh, okay, bro, like pseudoscientist, because it's like kind of like that. It's all in your head. We're finding out it's all in your head is actually true a lot of times. So someone will get injured, let's say on a deadlift or something like that, and they'll be like, oh, deadlifts are bad for you, it injures your back. Next time they deadlift, they get injured again. It's because of this, you're anticipating injury, and we're finding out like these pain receptors are kind of linked to psychological events. So like you get injured doing some activity, your body's going to send pain receptors basically to that area to tell you, no, we're not doing this again. Last time we did this, we got hurt, so danger is afoot. So that's what pain is, and that's why people aren't flexible either. I don't know if people know this. Flexibility is like, I wouldn't say it's like a myth, but the reason why I can't touch my toes or something like that is because your body's sending so much pain receptors because they don't know if that's dangerous or not. So you just got to expose it to yourself every day. That's just how lifting is. You have to, if you do a deadlift and hurts your back, you got to start out with lighter weight and more frequently. So your back gets used to, oh, okay, having all this weight on my back is kind of all right. And you can build your strength up to it. But I think a lot of people discount the psychology factor. So it's all in your head is turning out to be scientifically true. So if I can contribute that one, is don't be afraid. Everybody, don't be afraid of deadlifting and using your back muscles. You got to get slowly used to it. And it is apparently all in your head.
Yeah.
That's I just don't want people to be fearful is my whole thing. I don't like telling people to be too safe. You know what I mean? You got to go out there and you got to explore and test yourself. And some people are just way, way too safe, in my opinion.
Yeah. So it kind of derives from martial arts as well, because people are so fearful of getting hit. I've been doing this for like 25 years. I've been kicked, I've been punched, I've been
Yeah.
thrown. I mean, I had cracked ribs, and I ripped my toe open, and here I am with knee injury.
I'm sure
And,
in the WWE you get beat up too, because you gotta plan that out, right? When you get slammed.
oh yeah, but I mean, mostly it is contact, but it's not like you
Yeah.
actually getting hit with an actual punch. It's like you're making contact, but when you get taking
Right,
bumps,
right.
yeah, you can feel it. And yeah, you
You
want to
get
make
beat
sure
up all around though.
yeah, you want to make sure you're bumping the correct way, and then and you're like run the ropes the correct way. Like for me,
Yeah.
it's like for people who do dives, like for me, if I want to be able to do dives properly and not end up messing with my knee like I did before. So Ellie, or just don't do dives at all. Just do something different. That's
Right.
will seem awesome.
But
Yeah.
yeah, like my whole thing is like you can like not work out at all, not do martial arts, not do sports, not do contact sports, not don't do anything with your life. You won't get injured. Or maybe.
Yeah.
Or you could like not let it drag you down, because out of all the contact sports I do, yeah, I had a ton of little injuries, big injuries. You can't let it slow you down because like you're really living. And I'll be damned if I get an injury and I'm not even doing anything physical. And that's very possible. They're actually another little research thing. They're finding out people with back problems that don't work out is more common than people that do manual labor or work out. the back problems are disproportionate. So like you think, oh, going to the gym will give you back problems. Nah, I mean, not going to the gym will give you back problems in the end. So it's like you doing all the sports and like, yeah, I'm not saying like I'm glad you injured your knee, but it's like I don't think, and you're not afraid. I shouldn't be telling you this, but like you get injured, don't be afraid to get back in there and like, live your life, do what you want to do. Don't be like, oh, I have a bum knee now, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not telling you this because I think
Yeah.
but yeah, don't be afraid. I would say that to the people. It's like, go out there and get your lumps and bumps. And to speak to that martial arts thing you said, yeah, I think people don't understand. I'm not saying go out there and get punched in the face, but I think you'd be surprised. Like the human body's pretty robust. We're not all breakable, is what I say. We're not
Yeah.
all as breakable as you think. Don't go out
Man.
there and get punched though on purpose.
Man, it happens happens a couple times for me, but I just brush it off.
Yeah.
I pretend it didn't happen. I
Right,
won't say-
exactly.
Yeah. All right. So what motivational or inspirational quote that best describes your journey?
Oh man, that's a tough one, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, don't worry. This is the last
I would have
question.
probably, yeah, I was about to say I would have probably been better prepared if I had thought about it. But
Well,
I would say, no. I think I got a couple, but I would say, for me as a personal trainer, I have one of the best quotes, which is people, and this is great for me personally, for my ego and for my complexes that I have, is people don't care much about how much you know, but they want to know how much you care. So like you could have all this knowledge, right? But the client, the person that you're helping, if you truly want to help someone, it's more important that you care more than like what you know. So you can know all this stuff, but if you don't care, it doesn't make a damn bit of difference. You know what I'm saying? So that's a big quote for me as a professional trainer that stays with me in terms of like knowing that what my success is my client's success. It's not like, oh, what am I being successful? It's like, how am I helping these people to the best of my ability? But I probably have another quote, but that might be it for today. I can't think of a nice inspirational one. I'm sure there is one though.
oh, here's one I always kind of think about is
Yeah. Let me hear yours.
no, it's better to humble yourself and be praised after than to praise yourself than be humble after.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one, and that's so true.
Yeah.
To be honest, and nothing will humble you more than martial arts and working out and fitness, and that's why I think everyone should do it.
You got so many people that are exalting themselves, they're looking for that attention, like you say, they film in a gym and, they're saying like they want people to look at their form. It's like, I mean,
They need to be humbled the most.
yeah, it's like, not everybody's going to look at your form and say that you need help or that's good or everything. But, it's like you're humbled, like by like people will watch you no matter what. It's like, for me, it's like, I don't expect people to watch me go crazy on the elliptical, like which I used to do for when it was full gym.
I remember that actually.
Yeah, I still hold the record for 2 hours and 5 minutes. I mean, I haven't been on the elliptical for a while, but I know I can still run as fast on the elliptical. Yeah.
Yeah, once your knee's good, you're back on it, right?
Oh yeah. All right, so now we reached our fun segment of the interview. I call this a hidden gem. So we can ask you 7 questions, and pretty much this is the fun part of you. So all right, so here's the first question: the best advice you ever gotten, and who said it?
Best advice I ever gotten. Oh man! All right, so back in N-Trip, I was taking the N-Trip personal training certification. I don't know if this was advice, but it was like a humbling moment, I guess you could say. But it was my instructor, John Strong. I forget what I did to get to this conversation, but I'll never forget it for all of my days. He looked at me, and I was a young kid, obviously fresh out of high school. He was like, and I can tell he was gonna say it mean enough so I would get it, but nice enough so I would like receive it. He was like, "You got some growing up to do," and it was like just enough mean without saying like you're a childish or you're immature, but it was like just enough cushion for me to like be accepted. I remember I was about to say something like, "Oh, like you don't know me" or something like that, and I remember being like, "Shut up," and just take it. This is your moment to be like, to learn something, because I knew exactly what he was talking about. And he didn't need to extrapolate. He said exactly the perfect amount of words. And I don't know why. Well, I do know why, but I'll remember that for all of my days. He said, you have some growing up to do. And just that for some reason, I wish that could like cut deeper for everybody listening, because it cut so deep for me, but it was so simple. Like, you have some growing up to do. It wasn't like you're immature, you're a child, even though that's probably what he could have said, but it was like, it's not over. You might be immature now, but it's not over. So you have some growing up to still do. And it kind of like opened my eyes. I'm like, yeah, maybe he's right. And I really so badly wanted to say something, but I don't know if that's advice, but it worked just the same, I would say.
Hey,
Never forget that.
well, yeah, I say that like really, it's like you keep your eyes and ears open and of course your mouth shut. And I mean, that's
Mhm.
how it is, you always want to.
I really badly wanted to say something. I remember that so bad. I was like, no, you won't regret it if you just shut up and take it right now. And that's still to this day. I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't say nothing back, because I wanted to like, you know, get my hit back. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you said
Yeah,
something to insult me, but he was right, because only a child would try to retort back. So he kind of got me there.
yeah, yeah.
I'll never forget that for all of my days. I don't know what it is.
Hey, all right, here goes the next question. Usually people don't get this one. The worst advice you have gotten.
Worst advice I've ever gotten? Oh man. Whew, try to block that one out, right? I don't know. What the yeah, you're right. That's a hard one to get. Maybe my brain's blocking it out. I'm sure I've gotten a ton of worse advice. Probably worse the effect, like, don't like trust your instincts or something like that. I don't know if it was exactly that, but this person would always allude to like, go by the book and don't trust like what you think type of it wasn't those exact words. It wasn't like they sat me down and said this, but I remember this person would always allude to like, go by the book, don't trust like what you think. And that couldn't be further from the truth, especially for myself. Most of my brand is kind of going a little bit against the grain, just a little bit. You got to challenge it a little bit. And same thing with fitness. So like, that's probably the worst advice, because if I listened to that, I wouldn't be anywhere I would be, which is kind of like just follow the crowd type of mentality, like, is what I heard anyway. I'm sure they were trying to convey something else, but yeah, that's got to be the worst advice. If I were to personify, it'd be like, don't trust your instincts. It's not true. Definitely trust your instincts.
Yeah, it's kind of like the rules of the road. They tell you don't speed past 665 and you do it anyway, or don't go past the solid line, you do it anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
Well, here's the clarification though. I don't mean trust your emotions. Emotions
yeah,
will trick you.
yeah,
Yeah, but do trust your instincts. Your instincts are usually right, and it's usually the emotions that get you in trouble, because your emotions will tell you to do something on impulse. So that's
yeah,
not to be confused. I don't promote that part.
yeah. All right. How would you reward yourself? I call this the guilty pleasure.
Oh man, I try not to. We always tell people not to think of food as a reward, which I
Yeah.
don't. I don't really, but oh man, that's a tough one. I don't. That shouldn't be a tough one, right?
Yeah, I mean, it can't be just food. I mean, you think about like you're working hard with your clients and with yourself. Do you ever have a relaxation, go on vacation,
Yeah, that's what
and
I
up?
would say. It because I would say like the scene does involve food, but it's not about the food. So like my relaxation after I'm busy and my job is fairly social, even though it's only one person, I'm like talking all the time, is like be by myself, order myself pizza, either watch a movie or fights all by myself. But that's like for some reason that's rewarding. And what it does is actually it makes me want to be around people again. So I don't know. So I don't want to make it seem like eating bad food is like my reward, but it's just like kind of like not doing nothing for a little bit, because I'm always like working out, doing something. I gotta get this appointment. I'm talking to people, just me by myself, doing the things I want, watching a fight, watching a movie, eating pizza, laying on the couch, being like kind of like lazy just for a little bit, talking to nobody. And then what usually happens is I'm ready to be social again. I'm ready to work out again. I'm ready to, be busy again. So I'd say that's probably my guilty pleasure.
Yeah. So like for me, like of course I always go to a convention in Las Vegas. That's like my guilty pleasure. Like
Oh yeah.
I'm doing all these work, like working like 40 hours a week, and then of course doing fitness classes, karate classes, and that's I go to this convention. It's that's like almost relaxations. Like we just
Oh
only
yeah, I
do
see what
we
you're
don't
saying.
yeah, we only do a little bit of stuff, and then from there it's like I'm in my hotel room watching like Netflix and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's a nice feeling too. Like being in a hotel and
yeah.
knowing you ain't got nothing to do the next couple hours. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Everyone likes that one. That's a generic answer. Generic answer, but it's all right.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. What famous celebrity would you like to work out with?
Oh, what's famous celebrity wouldn't I want to work out with? There's so many, right?
Yeah.
I think a popular one, I think someone else said this was like, I think everyone would want to work out The Rock.
Yep. That's the common answer.
It's a common answer. I saw so many episodes, so I was like, I can't say Rock, can't say like John Cena or something like that. That's already been said, but I'll give you one. Beside, I would say I have a few YouTube people I want to work out with, like I don't throw Elliot Holst. I already mentioned them, but I'm gonna mention one guy. He's actually passed away. I would want to work out with, and this is Greg Plitt. Greg Plitt, you ever heard of him? He used to have the most motivational videos on the internet. I would bring him back if I'm allowed to. I'll bring him back to life and work out with him. I'm sure
Yeah.
people said Arnold Schwarzenegger as well, but I got to go with my original, Greg Plitt. Real original. Would definitely want to work out with him. He's crazy motivational. Old videos on the internet. Go look him up. That's old school, man. That's like beginning of the YouTube. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. That would be crazy.
I mean, for me, call me ironic. I would say Carl Weathers. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I probably would work out
I
with
thought
him.
you would have said like The Rock or something like that.
Well,
Too.
The Rock, but you
Yeah.
think of like Rocky Balboa. Yeah, I'd be Sylvester Stallone and Apollo Creed or
Yes, that's another one.
yeah. I
I'm
mean,
trying not to try to be original though, because there's like 20. The list is like 20 people long. Let's be real, right?
yeah. And honestly, I'm kind of mad because Carl Weathers was at the fan expo that I was at, and I didn't get to actually meet him or take a picture with him. But that'd be something awesome if I actually had the opportunity. I know he's kind of old now, and
Yeah,
but nevertheless, he probably could still work out like his character Apollo
yeah, but
Creed.
it's like, yeah, he probably has good knowledge of it too and stuff like that. That's the one. That's another thing is like, because like if we were to choose Arnold Schwarzenegger now, yeah, maybe he wouldn't be doing a crazy workout, but right here, the knowledge and experience is the big one.
Yeah.
But if Craig Plitt was still alive, for sure, I would pick him.
All right. Here's the next question. Secret talent.
Secret talent. I wouldn't say I have a secret talent, but I do have secret hobbies. I used to draw all the way through high school. I kind of stopped, so my skills kind of like are at like that middle school, high school level because I
Yeah.
didn't continue with it. But I used to draw all the time. I used to draw like Spartans and like WWE wrestlers and football players and stuff like that. Animals, a lot of animals. So I don't even know if I have hobbies, or I'm sorry, interests or talents rather. I have interests and hobbies. I would say like I like like weapon. I like actually throwing knives. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, like where there's a couple ways to throw. You can throw by the blade, the handle, and then you can put it in your hand like this. And it's called combat style.
Yeah.
I like throwing knives, and I would say my interest would be like history and like weapons and warfare, like pre-gunpowder. So
Yeah.
like I would say like a lot of people wouldn't probably know that until I told them. But other than that, probably animals, like drawing animals, like watching like all those documentaries about them. But I think everyone likes animals, right?
Yeah. I mean, I ain't own no tiger.
Yeah, no. That's a no-go. Can't trust them. Way too big. You can't trust it because you can't trust cats. The only reason why cats don't kill you is because they're small. Now you
Yeah.
get a tiger, wants to scratch you, you're done.
Oh yeah.
One time. But yeah, I guess I don't have any talents, maybe just interests.
I mean, if they're looking for a replacement for James Earl Jones, I could definitely fit that role.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. If you were in a movie, what kind of movie would you be in?
Oh, I'm gonna give you the most generic answer. I would be in one of those underdog sports movies, or I'd be in one of those like them Spartan Greek movies. I would have said Marvel, which is also a super generic answer. I know that.
Yeah.
But I'm not super happy with Marvel and Disney right now. Not super happy with it.
Yeah.
It's oversaturated, right? There's too many of them.
Yeah. Really, it's like
The
they
stories start to run together.
yeah.
But I would definitely be in one of those sports movies where the underdog come from behind win type of stuff. Or like
Yeah.
the coach. I wouldn't mind being like the inspirational coach, you know what I'm saying? Like Coach Carter. That's a great one. Something like that. I'm probably be that in real life. So shoot, we can make a movie afterwards.
Or like what was that movie of what Herb Brooks? It was like Kurt Russell played Herb Brooks.
Yeah.
What was that movie called? I know that was it was it was
I'd be
based
surprised
off
if I
of
didn't know it.
yeah, no, it's based off of the 80s the 1980s Winter Olympics. Yeah. And the hockey team won it, Lake Placid. Yeah, I forgot.
What's the name?
Yeah.
Did you say the name? I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I
But
know
yeah, sports movies are the best, man.
yeah.
You gotta like obviously big fan of the Rocky movies, stuff, something like that. Like come from behind, you know what I'm saying? Like win, underdog, all that stuff, that corny stuff. I'm into that for sure. That's what I would be in if
Yeah, no,
I
it's
could.
yeah, it's kind of ironic that I'm into like these hockey and basketball movies, but I don't actually watch the sport. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, same for sure.
yeah.
Oh, 100%.
All right. Okay, final question. 10 years from now.
10 years from now. Is that the question? Just 10 years from now.
Yeah, so like from now to like the next 10 years, where do you see yourself?
Where do I see myself? I see myself doing pretty much what all the goals that I laid out earlier, holding competitions, coaching the kids on strength and conditioning. Um, pretty much just keep on doing martial arts and stuff. I think by 10 years, I don't know. I might keep competing, like, because I'll be in like a new division. I would assume like the getting ready for, I don't know what kind of divisions there are actually. I was gonna say like the older divisions. I definitely see myself trying to compete in that because that would be like about experience and fitness at that point, I think. But yeah, doing that, you know, and perhaps at that point I'd start in a family. I don't know. I'm like almost 28 now, so that put me just under 40. So I'd be getting ready for that over 40 division in martial arts. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'll take over. I was a late starter, but I think I'll take over in the 40s. I'll be the 40-year-old champ.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. Running the competitions. And then like honestly, well, I think the most important thing is trying to inspire the next generation to continue what I'm doing. Cause obviously I can't live forever. So I think equally as important as you influencing and you serving the community is getting a what's that word? I want to say replacement, but like a protege. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because you can't do it alone. This whole image of like do everything by yourself. That's a huge image I used to have. Like, oh, I don't need nobody's help type of stuff. But you can do so much more with more people. So I would say trying to influence an old Al because I actually have a silent partner, and if without my silent partner, I wouldn't be anywhere I'm at because he is the more the business expertise and he's been putting connections. I want to do that for the young people coming up, trying to own businesses, trying to start fitness, trying to influence the community like how I want to in the next 10 years, basically.
Yeah.
That's an important one.
Yeah, definitely amazing. All right. So before we kind of get to the end of this podcast, is there any last minute words you'd like to say to the listeners out there?
Nothing crazy, man. I would say the same thing I said before to reiterate, don't be scared, go out there and do different things, find new challenges. Especially if because my influence is in the gym. If I were to say one thing is get new challenges because as much as you love it right now, I see people burn out. I see people burn out in the gym all the time. And that's also why I feel like I can't burn out because I do too many different types of things. So like I never get bored and just do new things to challenge yourself because you got to stay in the game because it's easier to stay in shape than to get in shape. So yeah, nothing dramatic, just something like more practical advice there, I'd say. Just get after it, challenge yourself, stay in the game, stay in the game.
Yeah. All right, so that's like that. That's always the best advice. Stay in the game. Just don't sit on the bench.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because some people like they want to give up, and it's like, man, look at go to the gym. Maybe you're not as excited as you used to be, but you gotta stay in the game. It's like a love. You don't always have that passion, but it'll come back. Passion's an emotion. Can't rely on those.
Yeah. Speaking of that, no, I got to actually say actually meet this one elderly lady. She always is running like really. It's like, and I actually had to talk to her in Walmart, and she said she pretty much runs like almost every day of the week, or and she doesn't
Really?
stop. So, and I was just like almost like commend her like what she's doing, and it's definitely she seems so inspirational. Like
Yeah.
really, I was like, it's like that's the
Yes.
thing. I actually look out for people. It's like when I see them like in Hyde Park running, it's like I always have to at least talk to them, or they see me, they
Yeah.
talk to me, and then it's like vice versa. It's like, yeah, this person really is what looking at like how hard I'm working out there. So yeah, it's it's just something that's kind of
Yeah. It's
drawn
that's
attached to.
inspiring. That's what
Yeah.
I want to be. I want to be a badass 40-year-old. I've always been a late starter, so I might as well roll with it. But yeah, I always said this, and now I don't see it as a competition. But when I was younger, I was like, I might not be like amazingly talented or amazing like strong physique, but I know I'm gonna outlast everybody. Like I said, I don't have that kind of toxic mentality that's like me against them now, but I always wanted to last a long time and be staying in this fitness for a while.
All right. Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
This
a
definitely.
lot said. There was a lot
Yeah.
said.
Yeah, it's a workout. Yeah, I don't want to get too
Right,
tired though. But all right,
right.
so thank you very much for joining me on the Fit Fighter podcast. So I hope everything goes well with you and your business. And then of course hopefully I can roll up in there one day and just at least get myself
Absolutely.
back in there. All right. So I'm gonna do my little closing of the podcast. All right, everybody. So for those just tune into my previous episodes on the bicbpradio.com, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And I'll see you next time for another episode here at the Fit Fighter podcast. This is your host, TJ Williams, closing the gym. Yes. Good.